Welcome to Statesman, the podcast where we explore all 50 states with our five senses. If you've come here for history, we're giving you none. We have a problem. Joining us right now are my junior statesman, Anthony Rossi, and Stuart Highcar. Guys, welcome. We're going to keep this short, but Stuart, would you mind explaining what's going on?
Yeah, obviously I don't consider myself an expert on it, but since an incident occurred this Saturday that we cannot sit quietly on, and it hit really close to home, so we're taking a little break in our normal schedule to speak out to you, Statesman listeners, about it. A lot of you know and hopefully love our former co-host, former guest, very good friend, Mohawk Johnson. He was the co-host on the State of Racism, the Five Senses of Racism episode that we released a couple weeks ago. Great performer around the Chicago area. Lovely person and a roommate to our wonderful producer Camden. Unfortunately, this weekend, Mohawk was involved in an incident in downtown Chicago involving, the current protest against police brutality and the massive policing budget in our city. And while we speak to you, our good friend is currently locked up on bullshit charges, trumped up charges, and we can't sit quietly about it. Camden obviously has, as a roommate and good friend, has been stressing out about this, not getting much sleep, and rallying the cry of many, many troops online who believe in what's right and want to come out and support our good friend, who we know is not the, insane, violent person that the news and the police want to paint him as. And Camden, would you mind just clarifying a little bit as to where we are right now as we're recording with this situation?
Of course. As you said, Stu, Mohawk was arrested as part of the protests in downtown Chicago this past Saturday evening, the 15th, I believe. He was arrested in the evening time after Chicago Police Department escalated violence of the advancing nonviolent protesters. There are videos showing protesters locking arms and advancing nonviolently, and then eventually acquiescing and starting to back off, at which point CPD started advancing and shoving and beating and pepper spraying people anyway. There is also documented kettling involved. For those unfamiliar with the term kettling, it is where the cops surround and essentially wrangle up and pen in protesters to the end of eventually inciting violence and arresting as many people as they can.
We want to make perfectly clear that the goal of the police in those scenarios is to, in some way, incite violence and incite fear in the people that they're surrounding and slowly encroaching.
As a part of those escalations, Mohawk took it upon himself to defend his fellow protesters as well as himself, understanding that Mohawk is Black and is targeted by the police on a day-to-day basis. He understood it of dire importance to protect himself from harm and to protect others around him. The first report that we got that Mohawk had been arrested was from a friend of ours who was at the protest and was by him as these events were happening. And the line that they used to let us know about Mohawk was, Mohawk got arrested protecting people. All Mohawk wanted to do was keep everyone safe from the cops and make sure that the cops did not hurt anybody, even if that meant defending himself, using force back.
Yeah, and I think defending is the absolute important word in this particular story, in this instance, because this is, regardless of the veracity of some video evidence coming out from here or there, it does legitimately show. I mean, you can't say that this isn't true. It shows police officers approaching nonviolent people and trying to hurt them and trying to beat them back and to spray them with pepper spray and to shoot them with rubber bullets, and they're not doing anything. It's just unconstitutional and it's bullying, and you can't expect somebody to take that, a human, at least I don't think so.
Right. No, I totally agree. You can't just roll over and take it. I think that's just ridiculous.
And we are operating under the assumption so far that these are things that Mohawk actually did. However, the video in question, there's one particular video that is going viral that shows who the police are reporting to be Mohawk. At his bond hearing, the CPD rep who was acting as the prosecution in the bond hearing, stated that Mohawk was arrested several minutes later without incident. So it is possible that Mohawk was arrested on the basis of profiling based on reports of the earlier incident. It is possible and even probable that the person shown in the video hitting the cop with the skateboard is not, in fact, Mohawk.
We do not have that identity confirmation in that video. And I think the second thing you need to remember about that video is even if that is him, you are watching a heavily edited video that regardless shows police beating protesters.
Right. And it actually cuts in right as the skateboard is coming down. There's no context setting up what exactly the stage looked like in the minutes or the seconds before it occurred. So of course it's going to be edited and framed in a way where it looks like a needless act of violence. And we've seen a horrific response in the comments and the tweets and all the feedback from that video, which was posted directly by the CPD. And the comments are so beyond troubling and disturbing. They're unbelievable.
They're disgusting. They're abhorrent. They're really, it seems as though the CPD is using these kind of like, I don't know, these photo op opportunities of like, let me show you the news footage of people looting a store, and then let me show you that I arrested some kid at a protest, and then let me allow you to get angry online because both of those footage and that picture of the kid who got arrested are of black men. And it's disgusting. It's 100%, it's racist, a bootlicking behavior, frankly, and I'm fucking sick of it. And it sucks that it had to hit someone so close to home for this to affect us, but god damn it, I'm sick of this.
Camden, one of the reasons why we're unable to release like an actual episode is because the Chicago police doxed your block. What the fuck?
Yes.
What the fuck?
You gotta talk about this. It's fucking crazy.
So it's my understanding that several dozen people were arrested from the protests on Saturday, 4 of whom, including Mohawk, were charged with felonies. And this is apparently common practice with CPD to include the accused people's blocks, their addresses, effectively, in their arrest reports.
Unreal.
Which is so dangerous and irresponsible and does not serve or protect anyone.
And they're releasing this information in public ways that let those bad actors in your Twitter comments who are like, make sure he stays locked up. These guys are now having access to personal identifiable information about the people that they are already essentially threatening online. This is a tactic used by the police to essentially like make someone afraid to speak up about their unjust arrest by feeling like, hey, if you make too much noise about this, remember that there are racists online who know where you live, so you better not make a fuss.
It's also used by fucking like 14-year-olds who have been killed too many times in Call of Duty.
Yes.
Like, you know, like what the fuck?
If you know when your cops are doing the same shit that like racist 13-year-olds in an Xbox Live forum are doing, you're not on the right side of history, man. Fuck.
Yeah, and there's not even a defense that you're protecting anyone. This was one specific incident. You haven't created any sort of basis that this has anything to do with this person's character. And you're effectively putting not only them, but as we've seen, like all of our friends who live in that home at risk. It's completely irresponsible. It's a scare tactic directly. And I mentioned it before, but like this isn't like light cyberbullying that we're seeing in these comments. It's straight up racist vitriol. Like people are saying that whoever was in that video should have been killed. And people are saying that they're an animal. Like literally, I've seen horrible terms come out, and like regardless of who it is in that video or exactly what happened, like this is a human fucking being.
Yep.
And to effectively throw everyone to the wolves without a trial even like fully occurring, and even if it had, like what the fuck?
Yeah, even if this had occurred, there's no excuse for the kind of behavior we're seeing online, specifically geared towards this campaign and our circles yelling and anger about this situation, which again, we need to mention is only one of hundreds, if not thousands, of very similar cases that are happening every time there's a protest in any neighborhood that isn't white.
Right.
Like when when you're going to marches in upper Chicago in the north side, there's cops everywhere. There's no violence. And it like they try and make sure that everyone has a great time. And then everywhere else, they kettle off these people. They push them and push them and push them. And the second they push back at all, they're arrested with felony battery charges. And it's disgusting. It's happening to all of these people. And while it's nice that we have this platform to talk about Mohawk's specific case and get this information out as quickly as we possibly can, it is important to remember that he is not the only one who's going through this. And this is a tactic that the CPD and most police departments feel completely comfortable using.
Camden, you want to give some social media help, maybe a Venmo or a Cash App for Mohawk?
If you want to contribute specifically to his legal fees, they are running a Venmo account and a Cash App account specifically for that. You can help out with Mohawk's legal fees on Venmo at free-Mohawk. That's FREE-MOHAWK. And you can also hit the Cash App for his legal fees at $. It's like the little at for Cash App. $, release the beans with a Z. All one word. That's $, release the beans, BEANZ.
Absolutely, we should be releasing these beans. Are you kidding me?
Get those beans out of there.
If you want to hit Mohawk personally to just have something to fall back on while he camps out, hiding from white supremacists and angry 14-year-olds who took one too many L's on Call of Duty, you can hit his personal Venmo at Mohawk Johnson, all one word, nothing fancy. It's at MOHAWK JOHNSON. You can also hit him on Cash App at $MOHAVVK. The W is 2 V's, so that's MOHAVVK on Cash App.
Wow.
And you can also take some other steps, which hopefully you've already taken after hearing how fucking amazing he is on his 2 episodes that he's been on with us. But go and buy this man's music. Go to Bandcamp, find him.
Yes, exactly.
Buy it all. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's a super talented dude. And like, if you're not into the whole idea of like, oh, just giving people money, well, first, like, chill the fuck out, guy. And second, like, okay, well, then get something in return. Go to Mohawk's Bandcamp and download some of his original music and support the kid. Like, goddamn, be a good person for once in your fucking life. I'm speaking to you out there, guy.
And, hop on Twitter and utilize those hashtags, hashtag free Mohawk, hashtag not a monster. Extremely important. People have been sharing their stories of their, close memories and, their relationship with Mohawk and all the wonderful joy he's brought to their life. It's really amazing to see. And it just makes it even more heinous the way that he continues to be characterized based off of this incident, because, it's really important. Like, just jump on there and utilize those hashtags, buy his music, send him whatever you can. Like, don't overthink the amount.
Yeah.
Just send whatever you can, because it's going to help.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that hashtag not a monster campaign is so sad that it has to exist, but it's also like, that's exactly what these folks want everyone who's arrested at these protests to be seen as. They want to be seen as these like horrendous barbarians coming to like loot all your stores and kill you, as opposed to like, these are the people who keep your community running, asking their community to keep them safe as well. And the fact that we treat them or portray them in any other way it's fucking disgusting, unfortunately. So, use those hashtags. If you have personal experiences, share them on your personal media, social media. Also, share it with friends and family. Talk about this story. This is a very personal story that we can talk to you about, and that it is easy to explain to maybe parents who don't quite understand the situation that's going on out there. Have a conversation. It's tough, but supremely necessary in these times.
Absolutely. None of us are originally from Chicago, and we're all white.
What?
And to think of the amount of times that I have heard people from, my hometown characterize Chicago as this violent hellscape without any frame of reference for what it's actually like. This is a situation where one of our friends will be directly utilized to push that narrative and to beckon in further violent action from quote unquote peace officers. Just the fact that they're labeled that in general is already such a fucking unfair move. But have those tough conversations, shut it down immediately if you hear somebody bring this up or see somebody share it without the accurate context, and just have those conversations and let people know, Chicago is not a violent hellscape. It is a place that has deeply entrenched direct issues with racism and segregation. And the effects of that are felt every single day. But this is a place where creative and incredible people can meet each other and make an impact on each other. And that's what we see with our friend.
Yeah, make an impact on each other, and also make an impact on society as a whole. And you're right. That's what Mohawk's done, is that he has affected other people in such a way that they are willing to stand up when they see wrongdoing happening to their friend and say, this isn't right. And that's all we're trying to do with this podcast, or this little bumper as well.
Yeah, Camden, you got anything else to say?
I'd like to give that guy a piece of my officer.
Oh,
okay. That
No.
sucked.
But very, very seriously, just to say one last time, hashtag free Mohawk, hashtag not a monster. CPD it has stoked the flames, and that fire is burning. The bootlickers are coming out of the woodwork like crazy, and people are seizing this opportunity to paint Mohawk as scary black man menace to society. CPD has no regard for anyone's safety, especially mine now. They targeted our home, and it's important that the voices of people who do not know who he is are countered tenfold by the voices of people who do know who he is.
well, on behalf of my junior statesman, Anthony Rossi and Stuart Highcar, I'm your elder statesman, Tim Ferrari. Free Mohawk.
Free Mohawk.
Free Mohawk.
Free
We love you.
Mohawk.
God. Where my serotonin at? Where the fuck the cognac? Full of skin and bony, yeah. Got shit they want, yes. And the ghost is haunting, yes. Even in the morning, yes. Leave niggas morning, yeah. Got the shit they want. Where my serotonin at? Where the fuck the cognac? Full of skin and bony, yeah. Got the shit they want, yes. And the ghost is haunting, yes. Leaving in the morning, yes. Leave niggas morning, yes. Got the shit they want. No, for real, has anybody seen my serotonin? Anyone? No? No one's seen it? Okay. Okay, never mind. Bye.